Happy Monday. We're so excited to be with you guys today live.
So many of you in our user group have been asking about color matching cameras, and we're going to talk about color matching two PTZOptics cameras we have set up today to color match live on this show. So we're super excited about it. You can download the full guide of what we're talking about at ptzoptics.com/downloads. There's a camera settings guide, and then ptzoptics.com/color to get the specific color matching guide that we're talking about.
Absolutely. We're going to kind of do a shortened version for you today. We're going to be sharing some helpful tools to help you optimize your color matching, color grading, color correction, and that whole process of things that we have used to help our system be, the best possible colors as we can.
Yes, I really love this little color checker that we're going to show you guys. And a new feature inside of the PTZ Optics cameras is called variable color temperatures. And you can actually choose the color temperature to match the LED lights that you have in your studio. So I really like using the color temperature settings. We're going to show you how to do that. In a lot of churches and places where you might have something called clash of the Kelvins. And what that means is you might have tungsten lights, which are very popular, kind of warm 3000 Kelvin lights that are very popular for a long time, but they're older. And then you might have daylight coming through windows. And then you have a clash of the Kelvins that can make it difficult for the cameras to determine what the right color temperature should be set to. So in that case, you might want to look at playing around with the color temperature settings in your camera, or getting rid of those older tungsten lights and looking at LED lights, because LED lights can reproduce daylight color temperatures.
We'll also be talking about some helpful tools within vMix today that they not so recently, but fairly recently since NAB have implemented to help you optimize colors within their very own system, as well as how we do it with ours.
All right, and then finally, if you are a church out there looking to learn more about live streaming, you can join our new user group called Houses of Worship. It's called Churches That Live Stream. So you can go to facebook.com/group/church streamers to learn more.
Don't forget, this Wednesday, we do have a very special giveaway of a free PTZOptics Z-Cam camera for a special edition of Back to Basics with Tom Sinclair. So you want to head to ptzoptics.com/giveaway to participate in that. We just made it global, so hip, hip, hooray for that.
All right, all this and more is going to be coming up right after this. Okay, so here is our color matching presentation that we're going to jump right into. And Michael does color matching for us almost every show. I think you guys, if you've been watching for a long time, you've probably noticed a significant upgrade in our quality when it comes to color matching. And that's because we've been doing so much color matching and really learning how to do this in our studio. So I'm going to bring up our presentation here. And one of the things you'll see is that, here we go. That we have a guide, obviously, ptzoptics.com/downloads in color, where you can get all this information. Is that color matching, it's not really a one-click process, if you will. It does take a little bit of time. You got to remember that colorists are actually hired at Hollywood movies as a single job just for them to do. So you want to plan ahead and give yourself ample time to do that if you're setting up cameras at a remote location.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that you guys, all things being said, understand that this is definitely a process. It can be ongoing, changing, depending if your scenario that you're using the cameras in is changing, the lighting in the room, as well as just, different lenses and cameras. So we just want to keep an open mind about that moving forward with the process.
Now, I know this is something that you don't want to hear probably because you already have your computer monitors, but you want to buy high quality monitors if you're going to be doing a lot of color matching. It's very difficult to color match cameras on monitors that are the cheapest ones you could buy on Amazon.
We're guilty of that.
We're guilty of it. I've made the same issue myself. Just try to buy higher end from companies that you've heard of before because it's going to be important. Now, some of the tools that we use, now you don't need all these tools, but we're going to help you learn about some of them. One is a color checker This one, it was like $15 on Amazon, just a piece of paper really. But then they have these really high-end X-Rite ones, which we'll show you guys in a little bit. These have really great color checkers with a gray chart on the background, and we're going to show you how to use that to do a auto one push white balance. And then obviously a calibrated monitor. They're expensive and not all of us can afford them, but you can calibrate a monitor to have the correct colors, just the way you could calibrate a camera. Vector scopes, color wheels, color correction software, and we're going to go into all of that in just a moment. So one of the things we're going to do today is we're going to use the PTZOptics app, and this was designed in a way to help us start doing really good color matching. So one of the things that is really nice about this is that you can see in the center here, we have the ability to turn this off of auto, which a lot of people leave their cameras on, and set it up for manual mode. And when we're in manual mode, we can now set the cameras to a specific shutter speed and iris, and we can make sure that both of our cameras are set to the exact same shutter speed and iris. And that is the best place to start. We want to make sure that our exposure, if you will, is ideal. So you can have stream 1 or stream 2 here. Stream 2 is a little more fluid. That's an RTSP stream, and stream 1 is higher definition. I want to show you guys how I got here really quickly. If you've never used the app before, you can see that it starts kind of like just a little PTZ app, just like that. And then you can hit the settings menu and you can put in all of your camera's IP addresses. So you can see we got two different cameras we're going to be focusing on today, the 20x SDI1 and the 20x SDI2. And I have them put in here. And once they're in there, you can click them to take control of them. But I'm also going to open up that advanced view from the view section there, advanced. So that's where we can start opening up into our manual exposure settings, our luminance, our contrast, and our hue. And then finally, I'm going to open up the preview menu. So Mike, I guess what we'll do next is let's put both of the cameras on the exact same location and show them both at the same time. And we'll go back and forth. So I've got the cameras right here, two of the exact same cameras there. And you can see they actually look pretty good right now. The colors are actually pretty close, but Michael's going to actually tune them and make them even better.
First,
I'm going to unmatch them.
He's gonna take off the color corrections in vMix, right? First of all, and then we're also going to take them off. They're on automatic mode right now. We're going to take them off automatic mode, and we're going to turn them into manual mode so that we know all of the exact settings are the same. All right, so Mike, bring back up my PTZ controller here, and we'll show that full screen for just a moment. But if you could, can you zoom in?
So we're going to use the PTZ app today.
To the preset that's right here. Yes.
Instead of the OSD
keep
menu.
Both the cameras on the. I think you clicked the camera preset.
There we go.
There we go. So we're going to keep the camera right here, just for.
Hey, Cliff.
For sake of this. So, all right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off auto mode and I'm going to turn it into manual mode. I think that's a great place to start. We know that we're live streaming in 30 frames per second. So using the 180-degree shutter speed rule, we're going to use 1/160th of a second. Now, we're at 1.8, and I actually like that. It looks pretty good. If I go to 2.0, I'm losing a little bit of my my detail there, so I want to go back down to 1.8. And if I go to 90, it's looking pretty good. I wanted to stay at 60.
Now you want to go back.
But I want to go to 90. So we're going to go to 1/90th of a second there.
That's perfect.
Now you can see here that we have the ability to go up and down on luminance and contrast, which we'll do in a second. But what I want to do is now go to my second 20x SDI camera. So see how easy it is for me to go back and forth between two cameras.
So we definitely encourage using the PTZOptics app when you're trying to manage different colors with different cameras.
It's a great starting point here.
Yeah.
So
the OSD menu is good as well, but this is, I don't know, a little bit more user-friendly.
It is.
And or are you getting more options?
We're still going to go into the OSD menu, But as we can see here, let's go back to manual 190 and manual 190 and 18. So we've set both of the exposures to be exactly the same on both of our cameras. And now we can just kind of touch up the luminance and hue. I'm not going to do too much here actually because I just want to make sure that the exposure is right. I don't necessarily want to mess too much around with blowing out our whites and blacks because that's what Michael's going to do in post, in post, if you will. It's still live, but in the live color correction from vMix. So I'm not going to do too much with it, but you could, touch up the hue a little bit, change it a little bit. We're not going to do too much with that. Let's leave them kind of normal. Now on the white balance side of things, what I do want to do here is I want to go to my OSD menu actually. Now the OSD menu only shows up on stream 1, by the way. What I'm going to do is I am going to go down to its color, right?
You're using the
Color.
You're using the arrows.
Now I can see that the color is already set to auto. So look at that. Now I am colorblind, but I'm pretty sure that we're in like the 6,000 range. Michael, you're gonna have to tell me when to stop. But
yeah, 6,000.
About 6,000-ish?
Yes.
So going from auto to manual is what we really want. Is that good? Feeling good with that?
Oh, let me pull it up.
It's splitting hairs at this point, but it does look good.
Looks okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we'll get out of the OSD menu there. And let's go back to 20x SDI 1 here. And again, we're going to open up the OSD menu. And we already set the exposure, so we don't need to go in there, but we are going to go into color here. Again, that was on auto. So the thing about auto is that it might look really good matched when the two cameras are zoomed into the same thing, but what if they zoom out? What if it changes? You'd rather have them be set perfectly than have them. Now, is that looking good, Mike? You happy with that?
Looks good.
Okay. So, and again, we can, play around with the luminance, the contrast, and the hue, for example, but we're just going to leave it. Oh, hit this button to get out of there. We're just going to leave it at that. Now, Mike, show me both of those next to each other so we can see what we're starting with. So they're looking a little blown out. And what we should do now is we should take them into...
Do you think that's what's... I don't understand because it doesn't look like what we were just working with. So what's affecting that, do you think?
Michael, do you have anything going in on those, like black stretch or anything on them right now?
On those inputs, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so let's... I guess you didn't reset everything on vMix. So let's show us what you're doing in vMix because we just reset the exposure without any settings. So now let's go pull your desktop capture up and open up those inputs on vMix and show them what we're doing.
They definitely look the same, but it does look like blown out or something like that. Request coming in from Rob. Can we add a Kelvin drop down into the app?
Open that.
I will write that down.
Sorry, not that.
Kelvin drop down in the PTZ
that one or that one, yeah.
app.
And now what you want to do is open up, go in your presentation, click that. Yep. Now go ahead and fade to that. Okay. So now what Michael's showing is the vMix color correction tool. Now go up to color adjust.
Does the PTZOptics app work with non-PTZOptics
and turn that
cameras?
black stretch off.
220x and
there.
no. The PTZOptics app is not going to work with Sony
close and
cameras,
open it
just
real
with
quick.
PTZOptics cameras.
We're not getting our video feed, yeah. And then go back to the camera, pop her out again. Okay, so let's take that gamma down because essentially what's happening is
Hold on, you can hit basic. You want to start with
yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna start with the basic auto.
There we
correct.
go.
And it turns everything off. 0.
Pretty much everything's off.
Saturation, hue, everything.
So Mike is now going to by the way, Mike has his vector scope up here next to it. Let's take a look at the waveform monitor as well.
If you're unfamiliar, we're using vMix to do this.
Yep, right there. So it's
Another
looking pretty
addition.
good. We're not clipping too bad on the tops and bottoms, so that means we did a good job of providing a flat image. Now let's just look at the full screen preview, or none. Now Mike's going to go ahead and try to match these colors up a little better.
It says the disadvantage of the app is that the settings disappear after restarting. So you can't save the settings within the app.
That's something that we are going to be upgrading on the app soon.
Okay. Good to know you.
So something that I'm going to point out is look at the yellow part on the card right here
Mm-hmm.
and compare it to the yellow on our character. And it's matching up.
Yeah.
So you're looking at the yellow in the card. You can see where my mouse is, and then look at the yellow on this character's hair and on the bodysuit right here, and it's matching. So you're like right now, it's telling me that we're in the right neighborhood.
Yeah.
And basically, and everything else is coming in. Like you can tell that kind of grays are grays, blacks are black. Color-wise, everything's making sense, which is really good. So now it's kind of just tweaking and making, making the image a little bit better. So you can raise it up. That's a little too much gain. So we can definitely bring it down. We can mess with the hue a little bit. See what that does. It's really bringing in the red and the brick out more. So if that needs to be matched, I can see it's turning a little bit green. So we'll turn that down a little bit. We went to color adjust. The black stretch was we turned the black stretch on the second second image we're working on. So you can see there's a difference without the black stretch. We always add black stretch. So let's pop that up. As you can see,
this is an important part because you want the image coming in to be a little flat. And see it looks a little gray.
So here it is flat. And then let's even go in. Let's show how flat this can go. Like you can go like the lift. Oh, that shows the, yeah. So look how gray and flat that is. So let's say you get something like this. Automatically correct it down. And then you can either do the lift, and that adds like kind of like a black stretch. Yeah, and instant pop. And depending on what you're doing, can really add saturation and really bring the colors through. It's all about that Goldilocks kind of look, not too saturated, but just enough to make it pop.
Now, before you close that, if you hit the cog on 1, that should switch it directly to. Okay, so now here's a camera that we were messing with before. There's way too much gain on it.
Yeah,
Let's
so
do the auto correction.
I'm just going to hit the basic auto. It's going to break it down even. I'm going to then open up our color adjust. I'm going to just add our black stretch on. I think we usually do 39 or 40. We'll do 40. It's taking care of a lot of the issues already. Something's off a little bit. You can tell from the last one. I think it's a little too much green. So we'll go back to color. And you can just slightly on the gain, slightly gently, look how I'm barely touching it and the difference it's making. I mean, I can see the difference on my screen. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that looks about, and then we'll add a little bit of saturation. And let's see if we can.
Go ahead and hit that cog on 2 and it'll swap right away. Boom, those are looking
there you
good.
go. Let's go back and forth.
Let's show them side by side.
Pretty good, and then side by side. There you go. It's actually pretty spot on. Let me know in the comments what you think.
Okay, so that is the way that we color match our cameras, and this color checker that you just saw is really helpful. The only thing we didn't do yet is I wanted to show how to do a one. Well, actually, we did a one push white balance, didn't we?
Yeah. You could show it again.
Let me show it right over here on this large cam here, or the main cam, because I've got it set up actually. So on the front camera here.
Yes, you can see the settings in the on-screen display menu. Just not the app.
Yes, and that is something that we're working on fixing as well.
Okay.
So you can see here that I have up our, here we go, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom into that gray card right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the OSD menu. And I'm going to go to color. This is a good place to start if you're not sure what the kelvins are in your studio and you're not sure what to do. You see that one's also set to auto. What we're going to do is we're going to hit one push and we're going to hit enter. And just give it a moment to calculate.
Is that just for white balancing your camera?
That's just for auto white balancing.
Okay.
So we've auto white balanced it. Let's get out of that menu. Let's go to our manual settings, by the way. And go down to 1.8. Now let's zoom her out. And look how crisp and white that is. Now the exposure's a little off. We'll go down to 2.4. Maybe a little more, still a little white.
How about 8?
Try 3.4. There we go. So that's just a little.
Somebody commented the colorblind guys color matching.
I know. Well, I can do an auto white balance. I'm not going to do a color. I'm not going to color match.
Well, I love how these apps. This app is so good that like you even feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Color matching.
So let's end the show there. We built this app to make it easier for you. We are going to be building in the ability to save all of the settings into the app, and that's going to add a lot of functionality to it. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. For now, if you want to save the color settings, use the on-screen display menu as opposed, which has the same features, just doesn't work the same.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys in the podcast post show in just a little bit. And I'm really excited to see you guys there.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you over.
See you there. Test. What? Oh, I'm sorry. I know we've done a lot of work in here with the color matching. I love how the StreamGeeks logo just like gets like its own little like light beam on it from